All right, we're live from Burns, Oregon. There went some olive drab stuff on that trailer.
I'm sure. With a paddy wagon.
We got 5 sheriffs with a paddy wagon, militarized vehicle. There's more. Well, I think there's more coming in. We got the word that there was a couple of convoys.
I'll take that from you and get it over here.
Okay, good. I'll take this one. Well, we got a break in traffic right here. We are waiting to see what else comes down, and then we're going to go follow. It does not appear to be law enforcement. We've had quite a few law enforcement, both local sheriff, state trooper, etc. Oh, it went sideways again. Let me fix it. Do you want to try and find them?
That could be the pre-element. We don't know how spread out they are.
Yeah, we don't know how spread out they are. Right. And we don't mind doing this. I
just set it up here.
It doesn't stay by itself. I would set it up there if it would.
And for the people that are just tuning in on YouTube, because everybody had kind of bailed out after the Shauna Cox thing, and they're just now starting to come back. Tell us tell them again what's going on, Sherry.
We are here trying to get a recording of militarized vehicles. We got a tip that there were a couple of convoys of them coming into Burns today.
They were already seen on the highway just outside of Burns.
Right, they were already seen on the highway coming from Bend into Burns. Now, at the time we got the tip, it could have been some of them already passed us. So we're going to give it a little bit longer, and then we're going to go try and check out the airport, see if that's where they went. But it looks like they are definitely ramping up prior to tomorrow's rally. So tomorrow could get even more interesting.
And you got a fully charged battery, I hope.
I've got it plugged in as we speak.
All right. Yeah, this might just be a live stakeout, and sometimes stakeouts are really boring.
Yeah, it could happen that way. Yeah, this is news, not a stakeout.
Yeah, I know what you said.
We are media. We are the First Amendment. We are the press, and we will not be silenced. Uh-oh. I know it's rather boring right now, just waiting on them. It can happen that way, but we don't want to miss anything. We have seen a number of law enforcement vehicles pass us already. We saw one militarized vehicle pass us.
At least 7 or 8 sheriffs.
At least 7 or 8 sheriffs. Yep. I did have a chance to listen to Shauna Cox's interview this morning. That is quite enlightening. I do recommend everybody hear it.
By the way, that Landstar truck over by our military base, they have Landstar trucks. They do contract carry for military.
Really?
Yeah, that because I've seen them before over here at Bluegrass Field when we go by there. Man, are they really arming up for?
Well, we don't know. That's what we're
revolution?
trying to
I don't know.
verify.
Yeah, we've been buffaloed before too, so.
Yes, we have. I do consider my source to be pretty credible. I don't know if there's another way around the town. I don't know this town quite well enough. But I'm starting to wonder if there isn't another back road out that way. That maybe they went that way.
Might be able to Google it.
Well, not while I'm live.
He can't.
Oh, yeah, maybe you can Google the different routes
From the airport.
from Bend to the airport. We're sitting on Monroe Street. Yeah, Hawk is great about helping me get the information. You can search it while I'm doing this. It's nice to have that kind of backup.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, that's not military coming in. That's a horse trailer or something. You see anything coming?
All right, there's only 2 ways to get to the airport, and that is right where you're setting or up 205, but it looks like they'd have to go through some residential to go up, get on 205 and come at the airport from the outside edge of town.
I wonder if we shouldn't go sit at that intersection.
Well, that they would have to pass that intersection no matter what. So, but you will.
That's what I'm. That's
you-
what I'm wondering.
Right, but you won't have any cover out there. It looks like you got some good cover where you're at now, but I think
Yeah,
Absolutely.
there's so some right there,
Yeah.
and they're not going to let you stay there either.
yeah, you'd have to sit on the corner, which I'm sure they'd run you off.
Yep.
But if they are going the other way, we won't have a record of it. So we'll just do our best here.
Well, if they don't eventually show up there, make that slow pass at the airport. I wish I was watching that parade and somebody else mentioned it. I'm like, they ought to take that parade through the checkpoint over and over and over again, drive them cops crazy at the checkpoint, having to check every car.
That would have been real interesting. Did you get a chance to listen to Shauna Cox's interview?
Yeah, actually, that was the live stream just like an hour ago. We had that Shauna Cox interview and a couple of other things, so it's not late and I'm not tired, so I wasn't cussing or anything. That's cool.
Well, I found that interview very enlightening.
Yes.
She does back up Victoria's account.
Right, and from what I understand, she called that guy as soon as she got out of jail. She hadn't even talked to Victoria yet at this point.
Well, she said they were all talking in the back of the van.
Right.
And that's where Mark got his information, supposedly.
Right.
She did call out Mark as the informant.
Yeah, when I watched his video, I honestly, the way he was speaking and words and lingo he was using, it really, I know I've been told he was former military, but there was an awful lot of cop-like sounding lingo too.
Well, I got to tell you, he's supposed to have left town on Friday after getting his Jeep back.
Right.
He got his stuff back in stages. I know this because he told me directly. I spoke to him on Friday.
Right.
He spent a lot of time explaining himself and all the accusations that were coming at him for being an informant, and he tried to justify it. He did not jump up and get willingly on camera, but he did spend an awful lot of time trying to justify his actions.
Right.
Almost overboard in justification. It's a concern to me.
I got people trying to call in, and I'm not going to take it. Not only expose their phone number on YouTube, but it would also might come up just as we're getting the action of whatever the heck's going on, and we would miss it. So we're just not taking calls right now.
Yeah, ask them to go into the chat room and put their questions in there.
I was getting ready to say, is that a drone up there? I realized it's a speck on your windshield.
Well, let's see if we can find one.
No, it's a speck on your windshield because it's moving with your camera. At first, it looked like it was flying across the sky.
Well, next time I will try and prepare for this and scrub the windshield clean for you.
Oh no, it's.
And no, I'm. We have had a couple of big tractor trailers coming through. This one, what is that?
Military.
That's military right there.
No.
It's not?
No. I thought it was green, but it's not.
Okay, I don't know what that is. It's not what we're looking for, though. Oh, I thought we were going to get some excitement.
I'm to the natives.
This is another vehicle, a couple more vehicles from the rolling rally last night.
I've also noticed some of the locals' trucks are painted up like military too.
Yeah, and these little redneck towns, and I say that very lovingly because I live in one and I'm considered one. But in these little redneck towns, you find a lot of that. You find people wearing camouflage as normal everyday wear. You can find them with trucks painted for hunting, flying U.S. flags, Confederate flags, Gadsden flags. It's a normal occurrence to me. Abnormal to some areas, you know.
Well, with the advent of Duck Dynasty, half the clothes in Walmart are now.
That's true. That's absolutely true. You know, I've seen a lot of infant clothing in different camouflage. You know, pink camo and blue camo. I personally kind of find it a little bit adorable.
Oh,
But again,
we did a little research on Crying Woman last night. She works for Grasty.
really,
Yep.
well, she said she was a personal friend of Sheriff Ward,
Said she knows Grassley.
and she said she knew Grassley.
Let me go get this other piece. I'll be right back because somebody sent me the information, told me exactly who she was.
Okay. Somebody's sending me info. Nothing I need. Your turn. My arms are getting tired. Gotta switch off. Just prop your arm up there and you're good.
All right. She was former director of the Chamber of Commerce there, and she's running for some kind of other office they're trying to get on some other thing over there working with.
You know, I'm as impatient as the next person. I want to see some action. Sitting here is a little bit boring. And I do apologize, but gotta do what we gotta do. Yeah, we can do that. Let me take the camera.
Because it was hard to really see anything last night. I'm just wondering, still wondering if the Blackhawks are still out there.
Well, we can certainly get a shot here during the day. We've got nothing coming from down there at this point. Yeah, it's about 5 miles out there, so it'll just be a few minutes.
All right, no problem. Hello. Hello.
Mute your mic, Mike.
Yeah, I'm here. It's actually a beautiful day out here today. Still chilly though, about 26 degrees. But we've got some wonderful sunshine. Apologize for all the movement of cameras. Tough for me today to stabilize it. Just passed Highway 205. Did not see anything down that road. That was the road towards the refuge.
got a couple of more miles to go. Coming up to the intersection where we turn off towards the airport. There's a lot of sheriff vehicles up here, Hawk. Oh, okay, we'll correct that. There's two of them. Hope everybody waved.
It tells me they haven't come in yet.
Tells you what?
They haven't arrived.
My partner here says that means that they have not arrived. They are sitting there waiting for them. So we'll take a couple of passes by the airport and head back, see what we can see. But they did see our camera, so everybody is forewarned. The one guy was glued on us pretty good. I was hoping my hair was combed.
Give him a flight on.
Oh, absolutely. I gave him a big smile. Guess I could have waved my press pass at him, but I don't think it really would have mattered to him.
I sit on the left.
Okay, we're coming up to the airport here.
Tents in the back.
We have tents
I
in the
see
back.
1, 2, 3, 4 MRAPs in there, man.
We see several MRAP, at least 3 tents. There were 3 tents before, but they were not in the back. Let's see what we can see here.
This truck wasn't there before.
Yeah, there's a big communications vehicle there. We're getting jammed again.
Video's good.
Was he waving us down or just waving at us?
I waved at him. He waved at me, I waved back.
It looked like he was going to try and wave us down. I'm almost afraid to go back that way. I don't really want to get stopped.
Ain't doing nothing wrong.
Of course we're not.
I just talked to Sergeant Major.
Yeah?
I'm going to pass you a number of somebody else out there in a little while that you can call that can help. Help you get to the right places at the right time.
All right.
All right, you're really starting to break up. Probably time to turn around.
Well, hold on.
We thought we were going to have lunch before we went back.
Yeah, could you do me a favor, Hawk, and get in touch with Brett?
Okay.
Tell him that I'm being requested into a chat that I cannot do
Okay.
because I'm busy.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you.
Yeah, choice. You want to go out or you want to go back?
Let's go out. What do you think? No? You want to go back?
You can wait a little bit and then go back, and then they won't necessarily know. Nobody's following us. So.
It's pretty much your call.
So, I mean, in your opinion, are we seeing the posture being increased again?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
See if those other vehicles get stopped. Maybe
I can't zoom in on this one right now.
either we all get stopped or none of us get stopped.
Not necessarily true because I've got the camera.
You're not supposed to be in.
Well, that's not what I'm saying. I mean, we are, we are a free country.
I'll let them know that.
Road's not blocked.
We're going to try and go past the airport again without getting stopped.
Okay.
So we're going to have some jammed communications here, just like before. But waving at us does not mean stop, right?
I know a wave when I see one.
Okay, now here are the tents that I remember. They have 5 of them now, it looks like. And then they have
Those were communication. Those were tents who were here yesterday and they brought in trailers.
Yeah, there's 3 more. So they've got 8 tents set up now.
Jeez. So yes, posture is definitely up.
Yeah, very much.
There were two small tents closer to the road. Those have been replaced with hardcover trailers with antennas sticking up off them.
Those are communications ones, right?
Yeah, but they're hardcover as opposed to soft tent.
Right.
4 MRAPs in the back, no Blackhawk.
Okay. I've had this one phone number call me like 60 times. I don't want to answer it because sometimes it's just people tell me what to do. Yeah, you never know if it's good information or not.
Well, yeah, I totally understand that. We're coming back up to the intersection where the sheriffs are sitting.
We can see a couple miles straight ahead if you can make it short. Make it a short.
Yeah, as long as you're able to hear us at the same time. It'd be your call, but let's get past these sheriffs first. Okay, what? I don't think so. You mean 205? No, that's up here just a little bit further. That'd be a nice thought, but no, that wasn't it.
Did you say the other road in was 205? All right, we'll take a spot there.
How far up 205? 205 is the route I take up to the refuge. Yes, it's big enough to accommodate.
Yeah, those sheriff vehicles weren't there last night either.
No, they were not. And of course, they weren't standing around in the road either.
That almost verifies they're waiting on something.
Yes, they are. You know, for some reason, I suspect they're going to come down. I don't know why. I don't believe they'll come through 205.
Show of force.
Yeah, maybe that's it. You know, I suspect they aren't going to hide it. So I do suspect they're going to come through town.
Yeah, I believe they're going to come through where you were setting to, simply because they're going to want everybody to see them. This is a big intimidation game at this point.
Yeah. So I'm wondering, there's a big trailer down there. I'm wondering if we should park here or if we should just go back into town.
This spot here.
Your call.
Well,
we're looking to see if there's this isn't 205.
No, it's right there. This is right up there. Come through here anyway.
What spot is this?
About a half mile from 205, between the airport and 205.
Okay. Yeah, turn around. There you go. Dan's all over this. He knows exactly what he's doing. Park right over here.
Saw some people just hanging out. Who are they?
This is just a little stop, like a little rest stop.
Oh, it's a rest stop?
It's got bathrooms. It's got picnic tables. The dogs are running around.
Looks like flooring.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Then you're in a safe space.
Well, it sure appears like it. Either way they come in, we're about a half mile away from 205, so whichever way they come in, we will see them.
All the people that are tuned in, it's just a waiting game to see if see it coming in. We've probably tripled the number at the YouTube. Sherry, just go ahead and tell everybody what we're doing again. I'm going to take a break.
Not a problem. This is a waiting game. It may not have a whole lot to see. There goes one sheriff. We received a tip that they were going to bring in a couple of convoys of militarized vehicles in through Burn.
3 to 8, 3 to 5 will be convoy.
Say that again?
3 to 5 for convoy.
3 to 5 vehicles per convoy with expected 2 convoys. That was a guess. They were seen on the road between Bend and Burn. So we thought we would come out here and see if we can get a shot of them and see how much they are trying to increase their force, or at least the appearance. You know, it does look like they yeah. So far we have seen 7 to 8 law enforcement vehicles, and that is from the local sheriff to state troopers. There goes another one. We saw a couple of sheriff vehicles at an intersection that appeared to be waiting for the convoy.
No, there was 4 sheriff vehicles and a paddy wagon sheriff vehicle.
At that intersection? I didn't see all of them.
Came past Safeway.
Oh, came past. I was talking about the one sitting there. Yeah, we've had a paddy wagon and 4 sheriff vehicles passing through. We have yet to see the convoys. We took a drive past the airport and back with one of the guys out there waving at us the first time. Made me a little nervous. My partner here, though, is very cool and calm and level-headed. Thank goodness I have him. And he's found us a nice spot to sit and watch. There are 2 possible directions they could be coming from and heading out to the airport. We're at a spot where we will catch them in either direction. But so far it's been pretty quiet on that front, other than the law enforcement vehicles patrolling and sitting at select intersections.
A lot of movement of police vehicles with no activity in town today.
Yeah, there's nothing planned in town today. No protests, no rallies, no events that we've been told of specifically. But there is a greatly increased show of law enforcement vehicles, especially for a very quiet day. They've had things going almost every day, some sort of a rally or a protest or sign waving. And this is supposed to be a down day pretty much for the town to kind of recover and prepare for tomorrow's rally. And there's the concern is tomorrow's rally is expected to be much larger. They've put a call out for people to come in to town just for this rally. It is expected to be to begin shortly after noon tomorrow. So we feel that this increase in force could be specifically because of the rally that is scheduled. We don't know that. We are trying to make some educated guesses.
That truck had 2 large propane type heaters.
Oh, the kind that would go inside those tents?
Big tent, or a.
We're talking about a vehicle that just passed that had 2 large propane heaters?
Right.
Or,
It would heat hangers too.
it would heat hangers? They're good size. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes watching and waiting can be. Probably think it's more boring than everybody else out there is. They nothing else. It's giving the troll something to do in the chat.
Okay.
Well, yeah, it's time to multitask. And it's time for Dan to take a turn to hold this camera. There we go. There's another sheriff's vehicle. You're going to miss the whole show. You watch. Go have fun.
Yep, time to get it back. There we go.
Dan is learning, and he learns quickly.
Keeps off this cover and closes. It goes off.
Mostly, yeah. I think it will. I haven't tried it on that one because I know it'll do it on other things. I was a little concerned to try it. This is a little boring without some commentary, Dan. It's your turn. Okay, everybody. If y'all haven't followed it in the last couple of days, Dan has a very thick New England accent, and he is afraid to talk on camera. And we've had a little fun with it, and we will continue to have a little fun with it. You know, his New England, I'm told I still have a bit of a Southern accent from all the years I spent in the South. So that would make for an interesting combination, wouldn't it? We could say "Park the car, y'all." There's actually a little bit more traffic than I expected on this road today. Besides the sheriff vehicle, they're just increasing it exponentially. This is normally a pretty quiet road. God, what a pretty day, though. Very pretty day. And that is regardless of whether or not you like a high desert area.
Sun is warm.
Yes, it's nice and warm. I like filming landscape. I don't know why, but it does give me a really good excuse to just look around. I hope there isn't a lot of glare on that camera from the sun. It's so bright today.
Yeah, it's kind of shooting across the screen. I'm not sure. Certainly not directly on.
When Hawk comes back, we'll ask him how it's coming out. Maybe it should stay on this side, but until he tells me. That's got some. What's that?
Yeah, it's a crane picker. Just a sling. They even pick cantaloupe.
That would be fun.
Pigs, something like that. Pipe.
Easier than cow tipping?
Never cow tipped. I've been invited, but I never went.
Another, nope. It's an eagle one. Of course, I like my little one. Do I need to take that from you so you can answer your phone?
And then who is?
I do wish they would get a move on, you know what I mean? We heard they were very close, but apparently they weren't as close as we thought. But Hawk assures me that I'm the only one getting bored here. You need to go take that call?
Oh.
Okay. What did we do with that other little camera? This in the back? Huh. Hope it's not filming.
This is a family show.
That's right, exactly my point. We're gonna have to take turns here in a minute just walking around for our legs with circulation.
I missed the Roman army moving in.
No, you didn't.
Of the glare.
Tell us how the glare is on that camera, though, Hawk. I've got it on the other side of the car, and there's some sun coming in. I don't want it to mess the shot up.
Oh, it looks great. I mean, it's almost HD.
Wow, that's good. You are, actually. We've talked to several of them. They're from all over the state. And the thing is most of them will tell you they don't want to be here and they don't know really why they need to be here. They won't say that on camera, but they will say it off camera. They don't like going down the street and having people yell at them, you know.
Right. Well, who would? Looks
Well,
like got pretty skies. Is it a little bit warmer today?
no, it's 26 degrees.
Yeah,
But it's gorgeous.
Last week I couldn't even get out of my driveway because the snow was 2.5 foot deep, and now it's 68, 70 degrees.
Yeah, well, that's all that global warming, you know. You can blame Al Gore.
Or his massage therapist. Obscure joke, never mind.
But it is a beautiful day out here. The mountains are just wonderful. Got a little bit of snow out here, just enough to make it all white and pretty. But it's not going to melt off real fast at 26 degrees. But the sun is just shining and warm. Now, I've got to be from some cold weather up in North Idaho to think that 26 degrees can have some warm sunshine.
Well, yeah. You know, when it gets down into the zeros here, with when the van's all closed up, it'll get warm in the van just from coming through the windows.
Well, I tell you what, my kids, you know, come springtime, anytime it hit 40 degrees, they were outside in shorts.
Yeah, those are the kind of temperatures. Those are the kind of temperatures I grew up in. So.
So we're talking about giving it another 10 minutes and maybe going to look for them. Well, you know more about that end than I do.
Were you ever able to get any of that stuff uploaded, or you just can't get enough internet to do it?
Well, apparently my little file is too big.
Oh.
You know, it's only about a 6-minute video, but I'm severely limited on my ability of bandwidth and things like that.
Right.
And I tried to do it at the McDonald's, but I don't know if it was still a bandwidth problem or a space problem. Brett's working on that one.
Right. Okay.
I could edit it and get some nice little clips and do it that way, but I'm not sure that you would like that.
That'd be hard to live stream that up.
Yeah. What we're talking about, everyone, is the fact that I went out to the shooting site yesterday and got a little bit of video footage of where Lavoie was shot. It's actually a smaller scene than the video made it appear, the FBI video. It's really not very big. But here comes another flag waving vehicle. I'm guessing they're going to go see the increase at the airport.
Sergeant Major said he went out and spoke with the FBI. I guess the day you got there.
Well, he had a relationship that it was easier for him to do that.
Right. Now, anyway, what I was getting ready to say was, he's gone home, and he said, I've gone home and I've been sleeping for 2 days.
Yeah, I thought that must be it when I didn't hear from him. I didn't want to contact him for a few days. But I was concerned that he would make it home. When he left, there was a snowstorm going on. But the man has put in weeks out here and did not sleep very much at all. I've been so concerned for him. And I know he was pretty broken up over Lavoie. Yeah, I think the shock has not worn off of most people yet. Most people that knew him, or even just met him, because he made a strong impression right from the very beginning with everybody. You want me to take over for a while, or are you doing all right? Here's another state trooper. Sorry, go ahead. Several.
On this road, probably. That's where it's sitting here.
So we would guess about 10 so far since we've been sitting here. May have to go back and count them up, but it's been quite a few.
Yeah, I've noticed with that KOIN footage and Shauna Cox and her account this morning, or that we all saw this morning. It's making that FBI press conference narrative just turn into it's falling apart on them. So
It is. It is. And what we need is now apparently, from what Shauna was saying, if I didn't misunderstand her, she got video footage on her camcorder from inside the vehicle, and they confiscated it.
of course they did. I wonder if we'll ever
Well,
see
yeah,
that. Wonder if we'll ever
but
see that.
that's just going to be something else for somebody to put in a Freedom of Information Act request for. There's a lot of things. Now, she also said that when they were in the back of the van, initially, they were told they were not under arrest. They were just being detained. So that changed. And we've been going back and forth about, this probable cause stuff, because Hammond, now he was very open about everything. He was through town. He went to all the meetings. He went straight up to the FBI and talked to them directly, and they never arrested him. It wasn't, very much before that they had gotten that video of him going up to the FBI. If they had a probable cause warrant, wouldn't it seem reasonable that they would just arrest him when he walked right up in their face? Yeah. And it's got me very concerned that they did not do it then, and they waited to plan this ambush, the one they call the traffic stop. Yeah. It does give every appearance that their intention was to kill everybody that was there. Now, I don't know that. I'm just saying that the appearances are there.
Right. Well, that guy that was just driving down the road that got caught up behind the first stop verified that there was six shots fired at the first stop.
Yeah. This is going to turn into another mess. And it was only the citizens' side of it that was trying to keep it from being another Waco or Ruby Ridge.
Right.
And that's what is so concerning. The government, I saw a report this morning that was very concerning to me. Yeah, somebody's pulling in. Let me hold the camera. You got it?
More people in the backseat.
There's a nice dog out there. They're bringing the dog out to run around. But the report I saw this morning had a couple of senators discussing the situation and discussing the civil disobedience and describing it as, quote, a virus, unquote. And if civil disobedience is a virus that needs to be wiped out, then we have a very serious problem with our government.
Well, yeah, apparently they think everybody but the government are children, because being disobedient. I mean, who was that drove in? Looked like a couple of men in black.
No, it looked like a family with their dog. There's an area out here that dogs run around at. It doesn't appear to be anything concerning. I am keeping track of them though, but the dog's cute. Well, it's noon out here, and I'm thinking about it. Yeah, I don't have any problem heading towards Bend, even if that's what everybody decides to do.
I think where you're at in town would probably be where to go back to or something. And
We could start with that. Um, I go a lot on Dan's instinct here. He's done real good for us on that, so I kind of trust his judgment. What is that?
Big flat.
Yeah, but it has some look like tarps rolled up on the back of
it's
it.
just the covers that they'd put the whole under.
Okay. We're gonna head back towards town. Oh, there's a car coming. Okay. Let's see what we can see.
Sorry to disappoint.
It's not disappointing. You know, at the very least, we did get a good view of the airport, and saw that they are ramping up. We've seen a greatly increased show of force with the law enforcement, which, you know, makes no normal sense on a down day. This is 205 coming up here, and there doesn't appear to be anything going on there. You don't see anything, do you? Okay. Yeah, hot enough. I had to turn that off. I had to turn that one off for a bit. We are just outside of town now. Oh, it did it. Well, I'll fix it. I don't know why it keeps wanting to do that. Hawk, are you still there?
Yep.
You might want to call that phone number you sent me a little while ago and just touch base. Yeah.
Go through town, see if they pit stopped up ahead.
That sounds good. I don't see anything happening down the main road down there. Over and on back here. Maybe they stopped at the rally point from last night, do their own rally.
Yeah, that would be a good one.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Like a sheriff's vehicle, doesn't it?
Some sort of official vehicle. We're going to take a look.
Intersection.
Yeah, that's the sheriff. That could be the sheriff. He's talking about us. He's on the radio, and his eyes were following us. Isn't that nice?
He's gonna stop us now.
Is he?
Pulled out behind us.
I hope he doesn't stop us. I wouldn't have fun with that.
Doesn't have a text to stop us. Coming up around us.
Well, good.
Two Idaho plates kind of scared them, I think.
I guess so. I noticed that even the locals, when they see law enforcement now, they slow down to a crawl. They're afraid of being stopped. You know, which shouldn't be that way. I mean, law enforcement is there to help you.
Not what I hear in this community.
Yeah, that's not how they feel here. Okay, we're coming towards the end of town. We can keep going a little bit. This is the direction that we would take if we were heading to Bend. So this would be the direction they should come in on. But I haven't been a whole lot further than this, so I'm not real sure what's out there. had a appointment scheduled this morning, I would have come out here and said hi to everybody. Those things do happen. Even on down days, you get real busy. And here's another whole section of town. This is Hines. Hines, Oregon, just bumped up next to Burns. I gotta put my visor down. That sun is just a blaring. Anything out that way?
I think 205 that way.
No, it's at Highway 20, I think. This at Bend is about 127 miles from here. This is a truck stop I heard has really good food.
Oh, this is the one.
That's what I believe. And we are heading out beyond Hines towards Bend. Nice cows out there. This is ranching country. Ranching is a major industry here. If the ranchers leave, the town will fold, and everybody will have to move to the city. That is, what some people believe is the actual goal of the government, is to move everybody as Agenda 21, or now is called Agenda 2030.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Got it. It's a couple hours. Heading towards Bend, actually. Okay, you want me to get back to you when I see something? Okay, we are passing the BLM office out here right now. I just wanted to give you all a good shot of it. And we will reconnect here as soon as you're ready. Okay. Hold on. I don't see any video. Do you have any? Okay.
The worse the signal is. If you're getting too far away
Okay.
from the cell towers or what.
Probably. Out here in the middle of nothing, I suppose one of these days, if I get the funds, I will invest in a sat phone, which would be a lot easier for everybody.
Right.
But if we're going to be losing our video, we're going to end up having to go back into town, or we can just keep going to Bend.
Nah, don't go all the way to Bend. All right. I wouldn't go all the way to Bend. Actually, you're probably gonna have to go back to town. Let's go ahead and end this live stream, and you can make that call because she has an interview for you.
Well, let me call you back when we get it back. All right.
Okay, no problem.
References regarding her family situation, and a few personal references about a situation with the other woman who was in the car because she didn't have her permission and didn't want to share personal things that didn't really relate to her narrative about what had happened. And so I did that. But I didn't have time and didn't want to take any extra time to edit the audio or anything like that. So you'll hear her audio is pretty low, so you want to turn up your volume. I'll get it as high as I can here for you so you can hear it. And then when it's done, we'll come back here to the live Periscope broadcast. Here's the interview. I saw I missed your call.
All right. Until Sherry gets back to town, we're going to go ahead and rerun this account from
Oh my gosh, I can't tell you how good it is.
Stand by is all we can do and wait.
The most perfect place. I was on the phone and texting right.
Have you seen the video that they released?
I did, but here's the problem. They're not telling the truth as you're watching it. Because what happened was that I was going to go home. And then one of my friends who was supposed to go do the video couldn't go. And I couldn't leave the little girl. And I went to take pictures of them. That's why I went.
Right.
So we were set up. They had an ambush set up for us. Absolutely. And they set it in the place, the most perfect place. I was on the phone and texting right before that area, and it was the only place they had absolutely no cell service.
Right. No, they had clearly been planning this, and they clearly also had somebody inside because they knew your guys' plans down to the T.
Oh, they did because it was that Mark. Mark did it. I believe it was Mark who set us up.
Well, and
He's
he
only been there for a couple of days. Tell me how come he's out and nobody else is. And he was in the van with us, and we got pulled over. He's the one that was pushing us all to go together at the same time. We were saying no, we had to send other people ahead, and then us, and then the next ones, and whatever. And so we were kind of in that together. So they knew. They knew. And so when we came up, we came through that. We came first, and we noticed the people there, okay? And I was in the back with Victoria and Brian Bundy.
right.
And Ryan Payne was in the front, and Lavoie was driving in that one. And then Mark was driving the one with Ammon and Buddha.
Right.
And so as we came through that, we noticed the vehicles. And they said, wow, did you see all those vehicles? And I could see them out the side corner, because I'm in the back seat and I got the camera shell on, so I can't see a whole bunch. But I saw the vehicles.
Right.
And then they could see them gaining up on us, and then we looked back and Jeep was stopping. So they flipped their lights on, and the boy says, we're going to beat the sheriff, So he's heading out. And Brian Payne's telling him, no, dude, you need to slow down. He said, slow down. They're gonna, they're gaining on us, and you better just slow down. So finally, he talks the boy into slowing down, kind of pulling over. Okay, but
Did Lavoie
wasn't convinced that we should stop.
when Lavoie said he was going to go meet the sheriff? You mean the sheriff of Grant County, or is that what
Yes.
at that meeting? Okay.
Grant County, that was the meeting. Okay.
Okay.
So he reaches out. So Ryan Payne, they pull up kind of behind us, and Ryan Payne rolls down his window, and he puts both his hands out the window, and they shoot at him. And they hit the mirror down. I thought they hit his wrist, okay? Because he has that bracelet thing on. And I thought they hit him and jerked his hands back in, and oh my God, because he had his head and his hand out, but he just went. It was not good.
Wow.
And so then finally, the body's going to take off, and Ryan says, no. And so he jumped out of the car. Well, Victoria says, I'm not getting out. And I'm going, I'm not getting out. They're shooting at us.
Why did Ryan jump out if they were shooting at him?
Well, I don't know, because I guess he wanted him to, because he said they mean business or something, and that's why I got out.
Right.
And then they took him immediately and arrested. Took him out, arrested him. Yeah.
Wow.
And so then, Lavoie says that they said something about let the women out, and that's why he's stalling. He says, you guys can get out if you want to. Well, couldn't really, the door was locked, but I could have made him, except for Victoria said, I'm not getting out, and I'm not about to leave her,
Right.
That's my mother instincts kick in.
Well, and she didn't want to get.
She's 18 years old, just barely.
She's not wanting to get out because she was afraid?
Oh, yeah. And so she said, I'm not getting out. So he said, and so he just said he did again, and so we slid down to the floor. I said, how far do you think you can make it, Lavoie, without them shooting out your tires? And he was yelling at them at that time, too, by the way. He was yelling at us, we're going to see the sheriff, we're going to see the sheriff. And so when we got down there, and we were down low, then they're yelling, video this, boy, turn my video cam on. And that's when we start, all I know is he gets to the roadblock, and he tries to go around it. I remember we're hunkering down.
Do you know he was trying to go around it? See, one of the things I noticed is that he stepped on the brakes. So he must have been going pretty fast, but I couldn't tell if he was trying to stop and just couldn't stop in time, or if he was actually trying to go around it.
Well, he did hit the brakes. That's true. He did hit the brakes, because I remember we kind of slid through that snow, and he had to stop, so he came to stop in the snowbank, because he was trying to get around him. And I guess he was going around. I'm sure he was. Anyway, so I don't know. I don't really know. I just know that he was swerving around that side, and that we hit the brakes, and we slid right up into the ice.
Right.
And there was slush flying everywhere. And then the bullets started flying, and he screamed out the window, okay?
Now, when you say the bullets started flying, you're talking.
Go ahead and shoot me. Okay, we're going to see the sheriff, and he goes, go ahead and shoot me, and then he jumps out of the car, and he's got both his hands up, and then we can hear all the shots are going off, and they're shooting, not just him, they're shooting our windows out, they're shooting everything. We can't get out of the vehicle. There's bullets, everything's whizzing, okay? We can't get out. There are lasers all over us. Ryan gets hit in the shoulder. We have lasers all over on the mirrors, on the glass, on our knees, on the, and we are just cowering down as low as we can get. And I got her head shoved down as low as I can, and Ryan's down to the floor. And we're trying to keep down as low as we can. And the bullets don't quit. They just keep going. And they're both screaming, they killed the boy. They watched him get shot, okay? And then you'll hear us, we're just screaming, stop, and she's yelling, I'm an EMT, I can help him, she's screaming, stop, and she's trying to get over to the window, but the bullets keep coming. I'm right by that passenger door, and the glass is up, and they keep hitting that window, and we are praying, her and I are just praying out loud, okay, and as hard as we can, and the bullets are bouncing off this window. They didn't break that window. They were breaking all the other windows. They didn't break that window.
That's weird.
And they're shooting in gas, bomb things. So they're gassing us. And so I had that down jacket on. Her and I had our noses in the jacket, in my jacket, and I'm just trying to keep her down,
Yeah.
And then finally, because they weren't letting up, that's when I started screaming to stop. So then they finally must have heard her because they stopped. And we've been there for, 5-10 minutes, And still, after he was already dead. And they were still shooting. They planned to kill us all. There's evidence. So finally they said, and then they get on the bullhorn and sent the mail out, which was Ryan. And he got out, and of course they got him, made him walk backwards and took him. And then she gets out. And then they came, and then I had to leave the camera and my phone because I had to get my hands up and climb out. And they put us on the ground and put handcuffs on us. And then they continued to shoot the truck. They said, is there anybody else in the truck as we're walking away from them? I said, no, there's nobody in there. I said, absolutely nobody is still in the truck. Okay, we get away from it, and they just open fire and keep blowing holes in it. And they broke the window where I was sitting.
Weird.
Yeah, and it was evident that they had every intention of killing us. They didn't want us to live.
Wow.
It was crazy. And we said, you murdered him in cold blood. When we get there, see, as I watched that video, FBI video, I can see what he was doing. He comes out of the truck. He has his hands up. My guess is they shot him in the leg, okay? Because you can hear the shooting. They shoot him in the leg. Or I don't even know how many times they shot him, but I know I'm almost positive he had bulletproof vest on, okay? And the big one, but he's stumbling through the snow, and they shoot him, and he turns back like he's coming back to the truck.
Yeah.
And the one that finishes him off is a long rifle over to the side, the sniper. He's not 50 feet from him.
Yeah.
And blows him away. And then so he falls backwards into the snow. He does not have a gun in his hand. He is dead. When he gets out, his left hand is still laid out. His right hand is halfway to his chest, and he, like it was up. But he has no weapon in his hand. He never unholstered his gun. He knew, he just kept saying, go ahead and shoot me, And they did. They just lambasted him. And even after he's dead, they shot him. It was a nightmare. And I said to the girl, to Victoria, and we said to you guys murdered him. You murdered him in cold blood. You're a bunch of murderers, killers,
Do you believe?
Why did you do that? I didn't do it. Yeah, sure you didn't. We could see all the guys standing behind the tree. Some of them had those little binocular things on their hats,
Yeah.
They were a bunch of snipers. They were just killers. It was unreal. And so then she said, I said to her, you just witnessed something you'll never forget for the rest of your life. And whoever gets out of this, if you get out of this, you are to tell everybody you see. She said, I will. I said, tell them the truth. Tell them what really happened. You know?
Are you sure? I mean, do you know? You know, when the FBI said that there was a gun, they said there was a gun in Lavoie's inside coat pocket. Do you know if that's true or not?
Have a gun. I saw him laying on the ground. He never reached for his inside pocket. Nothing. He had a pistol strapped to his hip. Why in the hell would he reach inside for a gun?
You mean when they shot him, he had that pistol that he normally carries? Because I heard.
It was on his hip. He wasn't wearing anyway. He did not have a gun. He never had one in his hand.
Huh.
Yeah, right. Why would he unholster one and go shooting at him?
People have said.
If he was going to shoot him, why did he get the gun out before he got out?
Right. That's what I wondered.
Right.
I'm not.
See them all. There's bunches of them up there, all behind the trees there. Snipers.
Did he say anything to you before he got out? Did he say anything to you girls before he jumped out?
No, he was yelling at them.
And what was he yelling?
Okay, he said, then just shoot me. That's all he said.
Because
and they did. He was yelling at him. And he had his hands up and he was yelling at him.
It sounds.
And they did.
It sounds to me like he saw that it was obvious they were out for blood, and he was trying to get away so they could get it over with, maybe to protect you guys. I mean, that's speculation, but that's what it sounded like.
I don't know. Maybe, and that maybe was his thinking. I don't know. But he was damn determined that we were going to get to the sheriff, and when he saw it wasn't going to happen, maybe that's what I don't know. I can't tell you what he was thinking.
Wow.
But it was horrific.
Now, after that happened, did you get a chance to talk to anybody? I mean, that Mark fellow says that he talked to you and that you told him.
We did, because here's what happened. They put us in the van. They went out and picked up everybody. So we had all of us were in the van. We put in first. And then they picked up the other guys as we went down the road to the neighbor stopped and put them in the van. Mark was sitting in front of us. He was a jackass. Let me tell you something. There's this poor girl who just saw murder in front of her face. We were sitting in the back of that truck, in the back of that van, and we were singing hymns. I'm trying to keep her calm down, okay? And we are singing hymns, and as loud as we can, and praying. And I said, all right.
It's okay.
Anyway, so we pick up Mark. And he starts yelling on me, shut her mouth. And we all turned on him and said, knock it off. She's a young girl, you know. I said, she has to deal with this. You knock it off.
Right.
Because he kept just coming down on her. And then they take us, and he looks back and he says, I hope my Jeep is still there. We look back and I said, yeah, your Jeep's there. Which is a bit more than willing to explain. His Jeep cost $60,000.
Lavoie's dead, and he's talking about good thing his Jeep is still there.
Right. And we had told him what happened. We were telling him what happened. He wasn't there. He didn't see it. They didn't have crap. They didn't even know. We went around the bend before they saw. So he doesn't even know what he's talking about. So we go, and I did tell him what happened. We told him what happened. But, you know, he wasn't there. He didn't see it.
Right.
So then we get down to, then we all get in the vehicle and we take off. And then, we did take off. We were there for a long time. Hours. They left us there for hours, and they brought in all these guys. It was getting dark now, and they were I'm sure they were trying to figure out what the hell they were going to charge us with now, because they didn't know what, they had nothing to charge us on.
Yeah, I know.
So I kept saying, are we under arrest? And they said, no, you're just detained. We're just detained. We're not under arrest, we're just detained. And so we're sitting there for hours.
Jeez.
And then they finally get us in the thing. And they sent the ambulance ambulance because Ryan, the guy, got hit in the shoulder. So they had the ambulance and they worked on him, and then we all go to town and they take you to the hospital. And we all just circle in to the hospital. They dropped him off. We thought, okay, so that's why they're staying in the hospital room, so they get put in jail in the hospital. That's not what happened. Swung back around, went out of Cyber and to a rest stop where all of these SUVs show up. And they split us up. They put us all in these different vehicles. Okay, when they put one in each vehicle, and then they send us off. And I kept saying, where's the girl? Where's the girl? Where's the girl? You know? And finally, we didn't see what happened, but one of the cars turned off and went back into town, like off the road. And so we didn't know. And we were driving 80 miles an hour all the way out here for hours, all the way to Portland. 80 miles an hour in a caravan. And they stopped in one spot and picked up Santilli. So they had him in a different vehicle. They put him in a vehicle, and and one other person, I couldn't see who it was at that time. But anyway, so then we got in the vehicles, and we came out here, and they put us in, and when we found out, there was no mark. No mark, okay? Why wasn't Mark taken out here? Why does he have his Jeep back? Why is he on face? How is he out there like this? You know, we're
right.
in prison. We don't have any idea what's going on.
Right. He was the first one to get his story out because they let him go.
Of course he was, because he's telling lies.
Wow.
He didn't tell the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't know. He wasn't even there. He's trying to cover himself. He's the one that pushed us to go together.
Wow.
He was the one that was in the hurry.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, it looks pretty bad. In fact, we know that we're sure that he set us up.
Wow.
They knew exactly when we were coming in, too. And I was on the phone until we hit that area, and then the cell phones went dead. We couldn't call anybody. We couldn't get any. I was just on the phone right before that, texting and calling. And then all of a sudden we have absolutely dead zone, and nobody has any service. And so that's when I had to pull out my camera and start videoing.
Now, do you still have that video?
No, they took it. They took everything. They took everything. They took my wedding ring. They took my clothes. They took my glasses. They've taken every single thing. The whole world went upside down.
I've been trying to make.
We still have to fight the fight.
Yeah.
Okay? We still have to stand for the Constitution. We cannot let it just die. We cannot let LaVoy. You know, I'm a little nervous because I'm speaking out because they can. I'm still not out of the woods yet.
Right.
Because they can put me right back in, and I know that. But here's the deal: I have to get out, and I have to get the word out, and I have to get help ASAP.
Yeah.
Because if we don't, those guys are going down. So I had to get out, and I have to get help, and I'm working on it.
Okay.
I'm working on it.
Well,
we have to.
You know, I don't think.
I don't want to put anybody in danger.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we're talking big stuff here.
Yeah.
They will use everything in their power to wipe us out. We have to get the truth out, because you know what? If we don't, we're hanging. We all stand together. We hang severally.
All right. Shauna, thanks for cluing me in. We've been praying for you and everybody else. And if you,
I mean, you know what? That's the only thing that's getting us through. I know, guys. I'm telling you.
How did Ryan?
All these guys are together, and I'm all by myself.
Yeah.
And so they had to listen to me singing hymns.
I got a question for you. Let me back up. I got a question for you. I got a question for you. Ryan Bundy, he got shot before or after you got to the roadblock?
No, after. During sometime, I think it was while we were all hunkered down.
Before? Well, did he get shot before or after they shot LaVoy?
I don't know. Because bullets were flying everywhere. I don't know.
There were bullets. Did you see any other bullets coming into the vehicle?
Oh, heck, through the window. They shot them all out. Everything was coming in. We had all kinds of stuff.
Wow.
They were coming from behind, though. That's why God saved us.
Wow.
They were coming from behind us. See, they'd already blown out the windshield. I don't even know where they were standing, but they'd already blown out the windshield.
Wow.
And then they were hucking in the smoke bombs.
Do you have any idea? Can you even estimate how many rounds? Or we were talking. You said they've been.
Hundreds. I'm telling you, it was like riddling a tin can.
Wow.
And the lasers were everywhere. They were pointing the lasers, see? That's
right.
so freaky.
Yeah.
Because I'm going down, and I'm pushing down on Ryan because I can see it on his head, and I can see it on her knee, and we're moving so we can't, so the lasers can't hit us. We can see the lasers.
Right. What a dramatic experience. Whoever lives through something like that?
Well, only when God lets us, because we have to tell the world.
Yeah. That's
We
the.
have to take down. I'm telling you, there's thieves and liars and murderers.
Yeah. That's the only.
It's
That's
terrible.
I can't imagine any other way you made it through that alive, except for the grace of God.
There was only, and we know that.
Yeah. And bless.
We pray and we thank Him every day.
Yeah.
We
And
prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed. I'll tell you the
I-
whole time.
I couldn't believe that
we've
when
all just been praying together every day.
I
Every
couldn't.
time we see each other, it's a prayer, and usually I'm making them sing.
Wow. Oh, bless you, Shauna. All right. You got my number. Take care. Take care.
Okay.
All right.
Rick.
Okay.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, my friends, I don't know how much. First of all, how amazing it is that Shauna is willing to share that with everyone. If you think about that, matter of fact, let me do this. Some of you saw a couple things. Let me explain a couple of things that were going on in that video. I was trying to block out her phone number to protect her privacy, and also you saw me making some funny gestures. I didn't anticipate that phone call, and you saw Kimball come in with our kids into the room, and I was just telling him to be quiet. And then you saw Kimball sitting behind me. Kimball actually has joined us here on this podcast. Kimball, I'm going to turn this around so everybody can see you as well. Kimball also went up there with me as part of our Free Capitalist effort to interview, and that's when we both met Shauna, first time we both met Shauna.
Right.
The last time we saw Shauna, we were, it's 2 a.m. or something the morning of this incident that this happened.
Yeah.
So when you listen to that interview, man, for me, the first thing that I'm thinking is, it very clearly corroborates Victoria's story, and they've been separated. Victoria got she's been in prison, and yet she tells a story that very closely matches up a couple things. First of all, that shots were fired
His hands are in there.
before anything happened, when they had just pulled over, and Ryan Payne's hands and head were out saying, "Hey, we're unarmed." And so the first shot was fired. I was going to say this, and I want y'all to think of this. For some reason, we live in a culture where it's getting very hard to make sense of the words people use. When you protest in the inner city or at a campus or university, and you burn cars and you rip off clothes and you confront police, we call those nonviolent protesters. And then there's altercations and scuffles and arrests for abuse and all this but that's a nonviolent protest.
Right.
But when these people bear arms, so they're carrying weapons, we call it a violent protest just because they have weapons. But I love what one of the attorneys said. He said, carrying a weapon on your hip is also a First Amendment right, because it's a statement. It's just like a badge or a flag saying, hey, I'm a patriot, I'm a person who believes in the right to bear arms, let alone advertising, hey, I've got the ability to defend myself. But we live in a world where people have been trained out and educated that if you see a gun, it means someone's threatening you. But what you hear from these two women is, from the beginning of this occupation, from this protest, from the beginning, from day one, until this event, there was no violence.
Right.
And then
not a single shot fired throughout the entire occupation.
And then
Well,
on the side of the...
Yeah, the first shot that was fired was at a traffic incident. It was like a hunting expedition. It was like a safari.
Ooh, I saw one.
They spent millions of dollars. They've got a airplane flying
Drone,
around.
yep.
I saw a video earlier today talking about how it's suspicious that they didn't flip to thermal. That would have also shown you all the gunfire going on. Now, and you know, of course, Lavoie didn't know there was a roadblock up front, and she confirmed the same thing that Victoria said, which was he was bound and determined to go see this sheriff, a law enforcement officer. These men aren't anti-government; they're a proper role of government, and
they're pro the proper role of government. They're
right,
pro real government.
And he was determined. He didn't know there was a roadblock up there. He was trying to get there. And I love what she said. He was bound and determined to get to the sheriff. He wasn't bound and determined to get to a hideout.
He wasn't getting away. He wasn't running away. He was running to help.
After being shot at unprovoked, right? And you say, well, he ran from the police. He shouldn't run from the police. Okay. Now, next thing I notice is interesting. He puts on his brakes when he's coming around, and they shoot out the windshield. You see that guy jump out, and they shoot out the windshield, even though he's trying to avoid them. And then some people say, well, you know, moving vehicle can be a deadly weapon. But as you and I were talking about earlier, if you read the law, and we won't talk about that here on this show, if you read the law, the police are responsible for the use of force, and the circumstances change when they're responsible for the circumstance.
Right.
I mean, this was staged. It was like a safari in a controlled environment, and they had snipers and goggles, she says.
It was flat-out gangster ambush.
Yeah, and it was weird because there were like these rules of engagement, right? It's like we can't shoot them unless they do certain things. If they put their hands out the window, we can shoot at them.
Right.
And I thought was also interesting.
If they stay in the car, we can riddle them with 200 bullets.
So Lavoie had been shot at twice unprovoked, and everybody in that car twice unprovoked. Now, the words unprovoked, you might disagree and say, well, they ran from the police. But then watch this. So Lavoie jumps out of the car with his hands up, and he's saying to them, "Okay, fine, go ahead and shoot me." And she says, if you listen very carefully.
All right, before we get started, a couple of things that are a little different with the show today, or with this particular show. Start off with, I have disabled the YouTube chat. It is distraction. I need people to actually watch what they're looking at instead of fighting with each other about dildos in the freaking chat room. It's nothing a distraction and serves no purpose anyway. If you would like to chat, you are welcome to go to our radio station's chat room, in which case people can pass me messages. The discussion here is going to be the breakdown of this. Let's see it. So anyway, I uploaded the HD version that I got from the FBI website, which seems to be a little better as far as details. The first version that came out, there was just a lot of silhouettes with sticks. It looked like stick figures with guns. It was like, it almost felt like I was watching one of those movies where, you know, they go to the battleground and all that kind of. Still not seeing any kind of dash cam footage or lapel footage, and we know by the arrest of an individual that a real nutbag of an individual in another town down the road that got arrested, that they're all wearing lapel cams. If you focus down and clean on the, and feel free, please full screen this. If you focus down clean on these officers, many of them have helmet cams on as well. Now, this just looks like some kind of Afghani type operation, which is what we're seeing in town now too. We just got done doing our first live stream with our reporter out there in Oregon. We'll have more tomorrow. She just got there today. She's still trying to get situated and all that stuff. We have funding for her for a couple of days. If you want to help fund her to be out there longer, she's willing to be out there as long as she can afford to be out there. So you can go to freedomslips.com, and there's a button there for support. Just type in, all you have to do is there's like a notes to seller kind of thing in there. Just type in Oregon, and I will divert those funds directly to supporting her being out there. Now, before we even get started, it's very clear that this was a setup, because they already had drones in place, already had roadblocks in place, and they had already airdropped snipers and all kinds of people in place. Because as we get further down this video, I want you to remember, as we get further down this video, when they shoot Lavoy, you see no footprints coming from the road into the snow. So they had already dropped them. Personally, that they were going, I had heard initially, and I was completely wrong. I had heard initially, I was just going by reports. Yeah, because a lot of us are reporting on what somebody else says. We had heard by reports they were headed for a town meeting, but that's not what they were doing. They were actually headed to meet with the sheriff at Grant County. Now, of course, all these people are complicit, and I think the sheriff at Grant County was complicit into drawing them into the spider web in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the, at night, because that's how our government works, is at night. They do things in the dark, and they do things in a way in which nobody can see. We still haven't seen video. There's video on 2 phones that were in the truck. We've heard lies and falsifications from the press releases. We heard the sheriff of Harney County actually say that this was a takedown. Everybody knows what a takedown means. This is intention to put down. I've talked to a couple of law enforcement officers, one in which I will have on later, that also agrees that this was a takedown. And I've had several people that are non-conspiratorial people. And, I'm here trying to do honest reporting the best I can. I make mistakes. I get excited. I get upset. I get pissed off. I go into full Tourette's lunacy, whatever. Take me how you will. But everybody I've talked to in law enforcement agrees with me as well, because they were already set up and ready for them. You can tell by the drone footage that this was already set up to go. I've heard some of the dumbest conspiracies I've ever heard in my life today, as if this was a setup because Lavoy was an agent. I mean, come on, give me a break. Go back through our videos and listen to our talks with Lavoy. Go back through our videos and you can see just hours before this went down, they talked to the FBI. Just hours. And the day before, there's another video when I did a situation update with Lavoy Fennica, when he talked about how they were getting ready to go meet with the Grant County Sheriff. So this is all set up, and I think I can't prove it. How can we prove anything? The government is controlling the narrative. But if you really look at this really tight and hard, it looks like Grant County sheriff was complicit in setting them up for this takedown, because they were ready for them. This wasn't a standard checkpoint or a traffic stop, and the FBI doesn't do traffic stops. So let's get going. Let's take a look. All right, the first thing we see is the drone's already ready and already tracking them. They're just headed down the road. All I see right now is LeBoy's truck. I don't see anybody else in that vehicle. Or I don't see anybody else in that video other than LeBoy's truck. Somebody said there's a van behind him, which I think I got a glimpse of a couple of times that Eamon Bundy was in. And of course, they're not going to shoot Eamon Bundy or Ryan Bundy because that would have been immediate war. So, you know, LeBoy is the martyr to scare everybody, of course. So they were already ready for them. That's very clear. And at this point in the video, we see that LeBoy has stopped. All right, he has stopped. He's going to the middle of the road. And the first vehicle we see, I don't know if that's a van. They got their flashers on. And I don't know if that's the van that Eamon was in or not. I don't know. I think it was, but there is blue and light. Blue, you know, the blue flashers behind LeBoy. We can't see that because of the tree. So as we continue to watch this, okay, so now we can see the red and blue flashers a little bit. Now we got blurry video that's getting a little better. And I'm going to assume that the other van, yeah, I thought the other van was Eamon Bundy and those guys, but it's not. Because you can see that whether it be federal or OSP, I don't know, I don't care. But you see 3 of them out and they have a dog. And you see 2 out over here, right here, on the other side pointing at the vehicle. Where Eamon Bundy's van was at this time, I have no clue. But that McConnell guy, everything he said was a complete and total lie. Because he may have been able to see this, but we have no drone footage of anybody behind this. This is all we have seen. Oh, and by the way, this is the long form and unedited version of the raw footage. So it is about 30 minutes long. So, you know, there'll be minutes when I have nothing to say. Okay, it looks like the drone has pulled back to the Jeep, and I guess that's where Eamon Bundy was. I don't see any cop cars on him right now. Yet, but we can't see because of the trees again. Now, again, the YouTube footage, you know, I put the HD up on YouTube. You can go to freedomslips.com/drone footage and get the really good, clear version of this. You know, I put this up on YouTube, and it's not as clear as what I look at when I look at that video, but it's enough. Now, you see this dude over here. See this dude over here pointing the gun. Right now that dude's kind of just standing still. I don't know what he's doing. I've had several people say that you're going to see a red up here. That's a truck with a cap. Several people say they were getting red dotted or lasered. Actually, that's the stoplight that is just behind the cab because it's got a cap on the truck. So that conspiracy theory. Because we want to try to get this right. And apparently CSI sucks. The FBI said there was 6 rounds fired. We've already had way more than that of brass policed out there, people checking it. And I'm still absolutely mortified that nobody has done something to cover up the blood in the snow. Just out of respect. All right, we're behind the trees again. They've done a rather incredible job of covering some of this up just by being behind the trees. There was no reason for them to be behind the trees at any time. They could have stayed right on top of the vehicle with the drone, unless the drone operator is a total freaking moron. Oh, and by the way, the people that were saying the date was off, that's Zulu time. On the original drone footage, all pilots use Zulu time. So, that's not even a conspiracy, so stop with that stupid shit. Again, that red dot is his stop light. That right there, that is not lasers pointed at his vehicle. He has a cap on his truck, as you can see, and that is his foot on the brake. That's why you're seeing that red dot. I got a little kind of confused at that at first myself when I first watched it. When you watch things the first time, you're only taking in the primary. You're not really looking. You're just looking at stuff going, are you freaking serious? And whatnot. And I guess that's the Batmobile there. Appears to have fins on it. Batman. And they're still sitting there. This officer up here is pointing at the vehicle. Mouse to work right so I can point at stuff. There's an officer over here pointing at the vehicle. It appears they were giving commands. Yeah, I have a user at some point here they could see, and I saw it in the HD cam footage that I don't think we're going to be able to see here on YouTube because the way I upload it, I just uploaded it and it degraded just in the upload compared to what I can see by using the raw footage. And that was when Ryan Payne hung out the window and they took 2 shots at the truck. And now we have a situation in which Lavoy goes, well, they're shooting at me now, and he had Ryan Payne and 2 females in the truck. They say Ryan Payne jumped out of the car. He did it because when this is all over, you'll see that they backed his ass out of that truck too. All right, so now they're shooting down the road at a rather high rate of speed. This already clearly proving that the McConnell report, the McConnell guy, his report was 100% bullshit and a lie, and I've already checked it out. He was FBI and he was implanted in there. How the hell he ended up being their driver, I don't know. All right, so now we're heading down roads, and he comes around a corner and at a high rate of speed. And I'm going to back up a second because this does need to be backed up. Give me a second. All right, so he comes around the corner at a high rate of speed. As you see here, and there's the roadblock. He sees it. You can see he's clearly starting to slow down when he comes around that corner. but there's no way to stop. Catches a strip because they had, I don't know what, spike strips across the road. And then you're going to, right here in a second, you know, FBI says in their press conference that one of their FBI guys almost got hit by the car. Well, you're going to see here that the FBI guy jumped out in front of the vehicle. I mean, really? What kind of retard does that? Here we go. Little one step. See, there he goes. He runs out in front of the vehicle. He puts 2 in the windshield, which we'll see later. 2 in the windshield. The boy tries to avoid him, but he's also now in the snow, and there's no way to control that vehicle. Now in the snow. And, oh, well, awesome. Isn't that awesome? We can't see exactly what happened now because, well, it's got a black strip on it. Clearly misses the guy, apparently. Then we have this, oh, now we're not looking at it anymore. Why the hell did the drone take their footage away when they were following that footage right up to that point? All right, so now they're going to go back to the footage. Who is that asshole in that car? All right, so now we have this guy, the dumbass that jumped out in front of the car. I mean, who trained that? Who trained that retard? Jump out in front of the car. All right, so he just got done taking his stem out looking for Patriot blood. And I'm doing this a little step at a time so you guys can really take in the surroundings here. All right, the boy jumps out of the car. You can clearly see his arms are up. Arms up, arms up, arms still up. He's giving himself up. According to Victoria, he was yelling, "There are women in the car. Don't shoot. Don't shoot. Don't shoot." I get my mouse to do this right. All right, we have a guy here approach. He's right here. We have no audio, so we don't know what commands they were given. That guy shoots, gets in, right here. You see a recoil right there. He's hit him in the side. The boy reaches for his side where he got hit, which anybody would do. Now you see Jackboot Thug come out of the woods now, here, with his 308. See that? Shot 1, hits him in the side again, and it looks like possibly the shoulder. I'm not sure. You know, I don't know. I wasn't there, and we don't have audio to know anything about who fired when. The boy turns again. This guy has already shot right here. This guy. He shot once, caught him in the hip or in the side. Probably exactly where they wanted to catch him, because if you get caught with, say, a 223, that is not a hollow point bullet. What it does is it enters and exits, but it hurts like a son of a bitch. And it's hot, so you don't feel it quite exactly at first. It kind of feels like you got stung by a bee, in which your normal physical reaction is to actually grab the wound. So this guy right here shot him first in the side or the hip, making his hand go to his left side. The boy Finicum carried his firearm on his right. Even if he had a 9mm, he would not have it in his left pocket. It would have either been in his belt or in his right pocket, because he was right-handed. So already the FBI narrative is total bullshit. All right, so next, a few more seconds, that man shoots him in the back. This man right here, I'd like to know his name. I hope something really bad happens to him someday. Hopefully really soon. Even Viagra won't even help him. Another bullet, second bullet, when he's down. This man is still firing, actually, because we saw recoil. He backs off, back up into the trees. Now they're all backed off. He's down. Now here's the next thing that's crazy. All right, according to Victoria, they're all now on the floorboards, which I would be too. I'd be scared to death. I mean, this looks like something you would see on a thriller movie of something that would happen in freaking Afghanistan. I mean, why can't these people do this to terrorists, to actual terrorists in the United States? All right, so let's continue. All right, here's thug. Here's this thug. He's coming around. This guy's still running around like a retard. And now comes the crazy stuff. And of course, here we go. Here we go with the drone behind the trees again. So we can't see the entire thing. Rather convenient, huh? Okay. That first one was flashbang. All right, flashbang again. These guys suck at shooting because they didn't hit shit on that vehicle. They were shooting at the snow. I mean, come on, guys, really? All right, and now we start seeing a lot of extra fire. Oh, we're behind the trees again. Isn't that convenient? Yet again. In the meantime, LeBoy's up here, still moving, but alive. There we go. Okay, now we're getting bullets into the truck. We just saw bullets skipping off the snow. And remember when I said earlier that guy that jumped out in the truck put 2 into the windshield? See that right there? Can you see that? That's where it hit the windshield. They're still firing at that vehicle. Of course, they're conveniently in the trees where we can't see. I'd like to know who this drone pilot is. This dude's a dumbass. I'm an RC pilot myself, and at least I can keep my airplane there. Okay, there we go. Another bullet right there. See it right there? Did you see that hit? You can see where they got him with the front bullet. That's what caused LeBoy to jump out of the truck, because he knew if he didn't get out, because they wanted him dead, they would kill the women in the truck. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I see Ryan Payne backing out of the truck later, but that doesn't even matter. Those people were unimportant to them. All right, there's Jackboot 1 that fired the first shot. All right, now they're all back up there. We can't see them on camera right this second, but they're all up there, scared of the dead man. Oh wait, we've lost any reliable drone footage here for a second. Well, okay, well now it's back. Now we see everybody hiding behind their trucks from the dead guy. Oh, wait. Now we're behind the trees again. I gotta teach this dude how to fly a frickin' drone. Now, some of the rest of this is just aftermath kind of stuff, but I'm going to run the whole thing. I don't want any of this edited. And I want everybody to see this, and I just hope where I'm putting my pointer, people can actually see and understand what I've been trying to say all day amongst all the trolls and the people trying to make up shit and conspiracy theories and all that kind of stuff, as if this was all a show that was purposely put on with crisis actors. I mean, give me a break. Somebody said he had a hoodie on or something. You know, you'll see here in a little while, you know, they went up to him and took they went up and took his cream colored hat off and threw it off to the side. All right. It's getting hard for me to watch now, but LaVoy is no longer moving. And generally in any of these situations, just in case an officer is shot, they always have EMS literally right up the street. EMS would have not been more than 1,500 yards up the road, beyond this roadblock. So EMS is not coming in yet. And the sheriff I talked earlier said, why did the cops set themselves up into their own crossfire, which I find interesting, because the snipers in the trees were shooting towards the cops on the ground. I mean, that is just textbook bullshit. And we can't say anything to the trees again. Oh my God, somebody get me the guy that's flying this drone. Could you give me his name so I can just go kind of slap him upside the head? Or give him some lessons or something. Just kind of stand by for a second.
Hello.
Hey, Denny, how you doing? You got time to talk? This is Nighthawk.
Yep, I got time.
All right. Yeah, I just got done doing my video analysis, and which was included with some stuff that other people had saw and sent me emails, and I went through the whole thing. For people that don't know, this is Denny Payman. He is a. How many years were you in law enforcement?
I first went to the academy in 1984, where I was a police officer. Then went in, stayed with it, became the chief of police. Retired from that. Moved to Kentucky, was elected sheriff, and I did a term here.
All right, so there you go. So we're talking to a law enforcement officer that understands how all this works. So, and you have seen the video and all that. I mean, give us your opinion and your breakdown on what you think you see, without me saying anything.
Okay, going back to some of the interviews of people that were.
Stand by a second here. All right. I'm so sick and tired of this time is not right bullcrap. Okay, so let's do some math. All aircraft and pilots use Zulu time. All of that stuff blacked out is proprietary flight data. The only thing they left up was the time. All right, so since nobody can count, let's actually use our fingers. 4:30, and we're going to count 8. 4:30, 5:30, 6:30, 7:30, 8:30, 9:30, 10:30, 11:30, 12:30. Okay, that would make it whatever time that started. I think it was 22 minutes after midnight on the next date. That's because it was the Zulu time, International Date Line. Hope you all got that now. That's right. The date isn't right, or the date and time looks wrong to you. Everywhere in the world, It's a different time. There's 24 time zones on the planet. So in order to sync all flight and all the flights and all the airplane in the air, they all use the same flying time, flight time. They don't set their watch, you don't take off in East Coast and land on the West Coast and go by the time as you cross each time zone. So they all use the same time line, Zulu time, international date line. Okay? So use your fingers if you can't seem to count, and count to 8, and you'll find yourself at a little after midnight the next day, Zulu time. So frustrating.
There, some of the eyewitnesses, so we say. I've heard two of the people that were there and the statements that they gave. The young lady that gave her statement was probably the most realistic. By looking at the video, they made the traffic stop, and they sat there for that period of time, 3 minutes and something. But one thing that nobody has brought up yet and nobody said anything about is if you look at the passenger side of the vehicle, Mr. Bundy, at that point, she was saying that he stuck his hands out the window, stuck his head out the window, and was trying to communicate with the officer's commands, and that there were shots fired at that point. You'll see at that point, and if you'll watch just his side of the vehicle on the passenger side, all of a sudden his arms come back in, his head goes back in, and she said that he got down on the floorboard. Why would a guy get down on the floorboard unless they were, they're taking on fire? That's when the boy took off driving, is because somebody had fired at them. At that point, nobody had been hit yet, but they took off, driving. Obviously, I don't know, looking if I was a defense lawyer, they pushed him in a position of either having to defend themselves or having to flee. And survival, you're going to do one or the other. And they chose to flee. The roadblock was set up around a curve, so they were obviously thinking that they were on the run, that they were, who knows, seeking safety or seeking a place. We don't know. But when they came around the corner, that's when they had the setup there. The car, the boy went off to the right-hand side. And see that all the statements that she made is that they were saying, we have some females in the vehicle. When he got out, as soon as he hit the snow, he didn't sit there and wait for commands. He didn't sit, because he'd already heard the commands. He knew what the commands were. He jumped out, and one of the words that she said, because as soon as he jumped out, and everybody could see how fast he hit the snow, how deep it was, and he came out with his hands up. As he wandered through the snow, his hands came down a couple of times, not very far down, because he was struggling walking in the snow. When he turned, he didn't know the guy was up on the left that was up in the woods. He didn't know that guy was there. When he turned to face the guy that was giving the commands, you saw him, reach down, they said to his waistband, or was he clutching his side from, maybe being hit with a beanbag? That was a question that somebody brought to me. Did they hit him with a beanbag, which caused him to bring his hands down? As he turned, the guy in the back who came from the left was giving commands at that point, because he turned to recognize, to look to see who was addressing him over his shoulder. He turned over his shoulder, and when he turned that way is when he took the shot. But was he, at that point, was he reaching for a gun? I don't know. I wasn't there. Had he been hit with a beanbag, and that's what brought his hands down? Very likely. Nobody ever did go back over to him. It was obviously a good hit, or they would have thought that, if he had a weapon, why wasn't somebody over there securing that weapon? They should have went to it, got the weapon away from him if he was still, maybe not conscious, or maybe became conscious, and he's still a threat. At that point, they must not have thought that he was a threat, because nobody ever did approach him to remove the harm. He had become a non-threat when he went off the road and raised his hands up. They also said that he tried to hit the officer. That's not true either. That officer was in a bad position, thought they were going to take impact when they hit the vehicle. He was just getting out of the way. He ran the same direction as the boy went. It was not planned. He was just they were both just in the same place at the same time. But there's going to have to be a lot more information come out. There's going to have to be, people are all going to make their judgment saying, well,
Right. Hey, Denny, real quick. Now I'm gonna break my promise, but I did notice that when they came around with the drone, you can see where that officer that jumped in front of them had taken a shot and hit the windshield, because you can see the impact point on the windshield. I circled it in the video that we're working on right now.
Yes. That officer at that point, see, he could justifiably take that shot because he could say, that he was coming to him, in a form of a threat.
Right.
He could justify that shot.
Well, yeah, I understand that. I mean, maybe it was a justifiable shot, but I mean, in your training, does it seem logical to throw yourself in front of a speeding vehicle and start shooting? Because it was a really heavy truck in the snow.
Now he was definitely out to take the shot.
Right.
He was headed in that direction. It's obvious. Even when it hit the bank and was coming, I don't know if he was getting out of the way at first, but then saw the direction and was moving towards the vehicle to get that shot. But where they had the guy like up in the woods, these guys were sitting up there for a reason. They weren't just everybody get you to a good spot. They were placed strategically where they needed to be.
Yeah, they definitely were already ready, and they had to have been airdropped in, because I've looked at that video over and over again and everything. There are no footprints going up into the woods at all.
And the girl, when she made her statement, she was saying they were taking on fire. She says the people were even up in the trees.
Yeah.
I don't know if you got to hear her statement, but up in the trees, she meant up in the tree, up in the woods, that they were all over the place.
Yeah.
And, some people are saying, and with her account, they shot over 100 rounds.
Right. Yeah. I have actually, as I said, people have already been out there. Apparently their own CSI sucks. And the FBI said they shot 6 rounds total, which is kind of clear by the video. It was way more than that anyway. But people have already that have gone up there have collected multiple rounds from 308s to 223 rounds.
Right. Your 308s would be your sniper rounds that would come up in the woods.
Right.
And your 223 would be the people that were right there, face to face with him.
Yeah, in front. And we're going to have to wait until his wife decides if and when she will release the private autopsy report to know for sure. But, because we can all just kind of look at stuff and go, this is what I think. I try not to do that the best I can. And try not to have too many Tourette's outbursts. But, this just all looks like, to me, that video being released, there's a whole bunch of that. It looks like damage control to a certain respect. And whoever was flying that drone needs some lessons.
Right.
Because I don't know if you noticed, but a whole lot of it was scenery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the distance from the original takedown to the roadblock, I don't know the distance. I don't know the speed because he was traveling fairly quick. He was in the middle of the road because of the road conditions. They probably, there's a lot of snow. We don't know if it was icy or not. I don't know. The roads can be dry or icy in that situation. But he was obviously in a hurry to get out of there. Did you notice on the original stop to look at the passenger side, because she made the statement that they did stick their hands and stuff out? You can see that he stuck his hands and his head out.
Oh yeah, and that's when they shot. Because I had somebody that looked at the HD footage that I released. FBI released it first. I grabbed it before it disappeared because The HD footage is way more detailed. I gave you the link. I sent you an email with the link. It's way more detailed. It's less silhouette-y, like, because YouTube, I uploaded that in 1080, and the way it's being presented on YouTube is at 360, and the HD footage is way better. And I had somebody email me, and they gave me a timestamp, and I looked at it, and I'm like, you really can see two sparks of something hitting the top of that truck when they took off. And, the FBI in the press conference, they said they had the one aircraft up, but he said they had another aircraft up. And there are several times you're seeing red dots from above. There's no way, red dots, laser sights, I got one myself. Actually, I got one on each of my rifles, and, laser dot, when you point it at something, if it hits it in the side, you'll get the dot, but you're not going to get a dot, dead center down. So there was apparently another aircraft up there. I'm assuming it was a helicopter or something that was also shooting, or at least targeting from an upward position. So
Right. Yeah, well, the girl, I don't know if you got to listen to hers or not, but the stuff that she said, you can walk through the videos and see, she was there.
yeah,
And she was talking about drawing the fire, and, Ryan was hit also. How was he hit?
yeah,
Unless,
Ryan,
they were,
and that's Ryan Bundy, not Ryan Payne, folks.
right. And, at what point was he hit? Yeah, she said at never one point did anybody ever draw, anybody ever point. They did exactly what they said they were to do. There was never returned fire. And that's why when they had been firing, see, and when the boy hit the snow and jumped out, it's because they had been fired at.
Right.
He jumped out and his hands went up right away. He was not aggressive. He was not in a combat stance. He was not in any way a threat at that point.
Yeah, and and after 2 weeks of talking to him every day, I think he was genuinely concerned about the fact there were women in the truck and not to blow that damn truck up.
Right. And he says, and he was made the statement because she even made, if you're going to have to shoot somebody, shoot me. When he left the vehicle, that was a statement. He was screaming, "Don't shoot! There's women in the vehicle." He was trying to protect them. But she made that statement several times.
Right. And when we saw him jump out of the truck, he's in snow literally knee deep, which is hard to balance yourself anyway. And, I'll present my own conspiracy theory here, but I think there was a certain amount of this in which they shot him in the hip to make his hands go to his hip. This is just my opinion, and everybody might disagree with it. But if they had shot Eamon or Ryan and killed them, I really think it would be all-out war at this point because of so many people that follow and support what they're doing. LaBoy was a lesser figure, but he was more somebody that everybody seemed to like and gravitate towards. I really like the guy. We've done interviews with the guy and all this kind of stuff. And then all the rest of the people involved were, politically inconsequential. No reason to kill them. And it just kind of looks to me like this was a politically sanctioned killing. And I've also gotten word that I don't even know if I should say this, but, somebody told me that they have verified sources that Obama signed off on taking them out. And we've also
FBI is just threatening everybody. They threatened everybody in town. I know. Barely I am Dandy. How are you?
I am very good. Thank you.
Are you ready for this evening?
I am ready.
And what do you hope will happen tonight?
Well, I hope the people that caused all this get thrown in jail like the FBI is. We all know what happened wasn't right, so
Are you a local resident?
I am.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. You have a nice night, man.
Oh, I'm going to be watching all of you tonight and keeping it going live. This is just the staging area to prepare for the rally. How are you?
How are you?
You ready to welcome the world?
Ready to welcome the world, I guess.
Yeah.
That's what we're gonna do. Hi. How are you? You too. Okay. I'll be here. Be weird. It's pretty good.
What?
I might be able to win it. I don't know. You're all week. 3 days on the bus. We're flying back down.
Yeah.
The showdown came on a snowy stretch of highway in south central Oregon. Police closed it off as the FBI moved in. 5 of those leading the protest were arrested when their cars were stopped, but only after shots were fired, leaving one of them injured. Another protester was killed. 3 other people were arrested in separate locations.
Why are you here? What's important for you?
What's important for me is my family, is my kids.
This is the man who died. Robert Lavoy Finicum was interviewed by the BBC just after the occupation began. He'd said he'd rather die than be arrested. Like several other activists, he'd travelled to Oregon to join what's been called the Sagebrush Rebellion. They took over the headquarters of this national wildlife refuge in a protest over grazing rights. The government owns around half the land in Oregon and limits local ranchers' ability to use it. The leader of the protest was asked earlier this month what it would take to make them leave.
I wouldn't say words would do it. I would say action would. And that would be for the federal government to remove its unconstitutional presence here in the county.
He's one of those now under arrest. The occupiers drove the government vehicles at the refuge, and for a while they seemed untouchable, the authorities wary of provoking a bloodbath by moving in on this armed protest. Some locals were frustrated by the standoff, but many here say the ranchers' needs are more important than government regulations. Last night's arrests are a sign of new determination from the police to shut the occupation down, but it isn't over yet. Richard Lister, BBC News.
Let's go.
It is, and we're gonna put it live. You're live now, and yes, you are. What do you hope to happen tonight?
Spread the word. Spread the word. Help the hand out. I'll go home.
You think they'll get the message?
They'll get the message. Whether or not they'll eat our
Absolutely. Do y'all have a route plan?
We do, but I'm not going to discuss it.
Okay.
Take that cowboy's hand for Nighthawk.
So we're gonna be with you. Don't you worry. We're just helping to get the word out for you.
We appreciate it. Need all the help we can get.
Hey, shake that cowboy's hand for Nighthawk.
That's us. That's us. I'm with Readout News. And yeah, it's news for the American Readout. And we're partnering with Revolution Radio.
Oh, okay.
And they're the ones who've got it live right now.
Right on. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Hope we get online and look at it.
Oh, absolutely, you will.
Right on. That's good turnout.
Yes, it is. I'm trying to.
Read out. Revolution Radio switch.
Yep, that's us.
Yeah, I'm out there all the time.
Hawk, are you putting this on the Hawk's Nest?
Yes, it is on the Hawk's Nest and going out live on our YouTube. And extend our hand from your hand, from me, to everybody that is there, everybody that is there to protest all this ridiculousness.
We are with Readout News and Readout News and Revolution Radio. Okay. And you're going live.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for your support, everybody. We sure appreciate it here in Burns.
Well, we want to thank you, actually, for being here, for taking a stand. And, you know, we need more citizens to stand up. Speak your voice. I don't care what side you're on, honestly. I want to hear what you have to say.
Good. That's great. Have you contacted Greg Walden yet?